guys. I haven't been on in a long time, and I have many reasons why. I think I'll just start with one and work my way on up or down, however you want to look at it. So, last year, I believe I came on last January, not this past, but right before COVID hit. And nobody obviously saw COVID coming, but I basically was telling everybody, hey, I'll be back on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to vlog and vlog away, and I'm going to be more active. I'm going to do more. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be in the moment. That's hard for me to do because people who've followed me for a few years know that I suffer from a mental illness and that it is a daily struggle for me. It's a daily struggle to be in that moment and not let things get to me. And I think even with somebody who does not have a mental illness like I do, or anybody else that has mental illness, I'm just coming back, and slowly. I'm not going to guarantee you'll have another video tomorrow or the next day, but I am going to try to be more present, more in the moment. So, I had been stalked. I was being stalked by a person who I've had issues with for probably going on 7-8 years now. I'm not going to give this person glory by saying their name, but this person has really made me feel bad about myself and put my weight down and made fun of my poverty and made fun of my children. Basically made me feel like I was not worthy of being heard, or that what I had to say did not matter to anybody. This person has threatened to harm me and my children. So I was like, okay, I'm totally going to take all of my videos down, hide them from the world, hide myself and my children from the world, and just not be out there because, maybe this person was right about me. I'm an overweight, middle-aged, I don't know, I'm 43-year-old woman, and what I have to say and what I have to offer this world is not enough. It's not good enough. I'll never be good enough. I'm an overweight human being, not attractive, whatever. The thing about beauty is something that comes from deep within, and not to sound cliche, but it is the truth. Beauty is something that everybody has. It's in our soul. And it's up to us to bring that beauty out and to show it and shine. My sister, who is a blogger on here, she's just starting out herself. Fifth House Soul is her channel. I will try to link it up here somewhere during this segment. But her name is Colleen, and she has, like I said, the channel Fifth House Soul, and she's just feeling her way through. And we were raised to basically sweep ourselves under the rug. That it didn't matter, like I said, what this other person said about me for many years. Like, it doesn't matter. Nobody wants to listen to us. What we have to say does not matter, and nobody would want to be in our lives or a part of our lives. We were made to feel basically like crap for a very, very long time. And we became our worst enemies, I think. But I've had some heart-to-hearts with my sister, and, it's time to be heard. It's time to just be out there and get out of our comfort zone, so to speak, and share who we are to the world. Because you know what? Somebody out there somewhere in this world will be listening to this and will feel what I'm saying and feel the things I've felt and relate to me, or will relate to her and what she's got to say. You know, we're all in this life walking on different paths. Sometimes we meet in the middle and share the same paths for a little bit, and that's how people can relate to each other. You know, yeah, I know I'm a full-figured lady. I'm overweight, but I try to remind myself I'm more than my body. I'm more than my looks. I'm more than that. I am a soul having a human experience. And yeah, so I just want to come back and be heard. And I've been watching a lot of vlogs, and I see some other just absolutely beautiful mothers and wonderful dads put themselves down too, and it's like, wait a minute. You know, you have a lot to offer, and what you have to say and what you're doing does matter. You're living your life, and your life does matter. And so here I am trying to get back at it. I'm going to recap a little bit of what's been going on in my life and in my boys' lives, what we've been up against, what we've been dealing with. We have had, and not to have a pity party, okay? Because I know a lot of people have had it rough, very, very rough, especially since COVID hit. But some things that have happened to us, I never dreamed would happen to us. We were doing really good. We bumped along all of 2020. You know, we really bunkered down, and I kept us from going out a lot. We used the online shopping quite a bit because I didn't want us to go into a place and then wind up with the COVID. The COVID, I mean, it scared the living crap out of me. I mean, I'm sure it scared many of you as well, you know. But yeah. So we bumped along. We went through Christmas of this past year without it. We did really well, you know. We did the homeschooling through the school system at home, and the boys were given laptops, and, you know, same scenario for many people across the world, across the USA. But I noticed, like mid-January, I noticed like my sense of smell and taste was off big time, and, you know, I couldn't even hardly smell anything. Foods taste bland, and, you know where I'm getting at. I'm sure. Wound up going to the doctor to be tested. I had me and the boys tested, and a few days later got a call that yes, we were positive with COVID. To quarantine and to not go anywhere, which I was already doing that. I was already making sure that we were not out there exposing other people to it, you know. So I think Grant was the only one that spiked a 10. The rest of us didn't really have much, other than we just felt weak, short of breath. I think the aftermath of the COVID for us was the worst. So, yeah, and David got it too, which many people know David is the boy's dad. So he had to quarantine as well. And fast forward a few weeks later, no, say a month later, it was like the beginning of March, I noticed Tristan was not eating or drinking, and he looked real peaked and gray. Scared me, so I got him to the pediatrician, and not even an hour and a half later, they're taking him by ambulance to the Children's Hospital in Asheville, Missions, Children's ICU. So he was put in the ICU and diagnosed with a mild case. I'd hate to see what the worst case scenario is. Something called MIS-C. It's like a multi-inflammatory systemic, it's like a syndrome, and it's something that happens when, well, I'm going to use COVID because that's what it was that led to this. The situation basically put my son's immune system into overdrive, and his body didn't know how to shut down, so it started to attack his organs, and that's why he was looking the way he was looking. My son was actively starting to die. Yeah. And I'm glad I got him to the pediatrician when I did. I'm glad I brought him there, because he probably wouldn't have lived another day had I not. And that, just thinking about that, scares the living crap out of me. I just, yeah, it just scared me so much. Just thinking that I could have lost my child because of something I never saw coming just scares the hell out of me, guys. And life is so fragile. They gave Tristan something called IVIG. It's immunoglobulins. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but basically it's something that comes from that comes from the plasma and blood. They gave it to Tris, and it completely reversed the MIS-C. I thank God. We were in the hospital for a few more days. I say we, because I slept on the couch in the room next to him. I thank the doctors for everything they did for us, and the nurses. They were wonderful. And not that it wasn't bad enough that, and you could probably hear one of my kids in the background, but anyways, not that it wasn't bad enough that it happened to one of my children, something else happens in the beginning of May. You know, we're bumping along, we're doing okay, we're trying to bounce back from what happened in Tris. Easter went without a hitch, you know. And then come the beginning of May, my son, Dakota, wakes me up at 3:30 in the morning saying he cannot breathe. And he literally sounded very creepy, like a little creepy baby. And keep in mind, Dakota's 10 years old. And I was like, okay, this is not good. And David was over, and thank God. And I was a hot mess. There's no way I could have drove. So he took Dakota to the emergency room here in our county, and within an hour and a half, he's calling me back, letting me know that they are putting Dakota on life support. Dakota's airways were shutting down. Talk about one of the worst moments for a mother or any parent to go through. I didn't know what to expect. I thought the worst. There he is, speaking of the little devil. But I thought the worst, you know, my baby's gonna die, and there's not a damn thing I can do. And you know, I was just such a basket case that I literally had to have friends stay with me that day and help me with the other two, 2 boys because I couldn't eat. I would pace. I literally I had to take an anxiety medicine that I don't take very often because I literally was having the worst panic attack. I was fixing to go into the behavioral health unit of the hospital if I didn't calm myself down and pull myself together. So they intubated Dakota, put him on the ventilator, and they took him by ambulance and put him in the Mission Children's ICU. Keep in mind, this is all happening in a 4-week span, or 4, 5, 6 week span, somewhere in there. I'm like losing time because so much has happened that it blows my mind. Like, really, how in the heck can so much happen to one family? But it does. And I really believe COVID is doing a lot to people even after they're cleared of the virus. There's a lot that is still not known, that I don't think is fully known or being told to the public about COVID. So Dakota's on life support, and I'm at the house with Tristan and Grant, and David does a video chat with me and puts the camera on Dakota, and I see him with all the tubes and the wires and everything, and I just broke down. I lost it. I'm like, am I gonna lose my child? And here we go again, And they were able to reverse it's called ARDS. It's like an airway reactive disease that, I don't know, it's just something that's happening with people. They're being put on ventilators, even weeks, months after COVID. So, just because, and I mean, this is my opinion. I mean, I can't say everything that I say is factual, but this is my opinion on the whole thing. Just because you are clear of COVID does not mean it's not done some unforeseen damage to your body, to your lungs, to your organs. I can tell you right now, being what's called a long hauler, I can tell I'm very short of breath. One, I'm overweight. Yes, I smoke. That I've been trying to back off of that. But I seriously believe there's so much still unknown about this COVID, and we're not all out of the woods yet. I mean, we may never be. It may take a century to heal from the aftermath of this. I don't know. That's, like I said, just an opinion of mine. But Dakota was on the ventilator for a few days, and they took him off of it, and he was able to breathe on his own. You talk about thankful, miraculous, blessed. All of that was flowing through me all at once, and I thank the Lord for protecting my son, for healing both of my children. And Dakota had to come home with a bunch of steroids. He was so swollen from the steroids, and then he had to do Pulmicort treatments with a nebulizer for weeks after. You talk about puffed out from that medicine. But I was just so glad to have my little one back home, and that he was with us, and that we did not lose him. So hey guys, thanks for watching. If you watched all the way through, I greatly appreciate it. I have more to say. So this is just the first part of my update. Thank you so much for having me back. And if you enjoy my channel, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit like. Thank you.